concession stand is located behind the main bleachers. All concession sales go to support Alma College athletics teams. Alma College Athletics invites you to participate in their 50-50 raffle today. Tickets may be purchased from one of our roving salespeople who are all Alma College student athletes. Tickets are $1 each or 6 for $5. The winning number for the 50-50 raffle will be announced during the third quarter of today's game. We welcome you to Bulky Field and hope you enjoy today's game. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the track. Welcome to Senior Day 2017 as we take this time to honor the 21 student athletes who are participating in their final home football game for the Scots. Entering today's game, this senior class is a total of 18 wins, the most by any senior class under Coach Greg Piscanda, and the most wins by a graduating class since the seniors of 2010 squad. It is also one of the largest senior classes in region history. In numerical order, let's meet the senior class of Alma College football team. Well, they are greeted by the head coach, Greg Piscanda, and the athletics director, Stephen Rapley. From Jackson, Michigan, number 13, Dylan Zaborowski. Dylan is a secondary education, history, and social studies major and is planning on pursuing a high school teaching job and coaching football after graduation. He's accompanied by his parents, Jim and Polly Zaborowski. From Midland, Michigan, number 18, Parrish Turber. Parrish is a business management major and is accompanied by his parents, Nelson and Jesselyn Turber. From Bourne, Texas, number 26, Maurice Tawil. Maurice is an integrated physiology and health science major and plans on attending his master's degree and continuing on to medical school. He's accompanied by his father, Bassam Tawil. From Grand Rapids, Michigan, number 29, Frank Berquist. Frank is a psychology major and plans to pursue a career in coaching. He's accompanied by his parents, Mike and Maureen Berquist. From Port Austin, Michigan, number 32, Brandon Moore. Brandon is a business management major and is accompanied by his parents, Tom and Elaine Moore. From Coleman, Michigan, number 33, Lars Murray. Lars is a business administration major and will begin a career with Pepsi in January. He's accompanied by his parents, Moose and niece Murray. From Holt, Michigan, number 35, Zach Peterson. Zach is an integrative physiology and health science major and plans to attend graduate school to become a physician's assistant. He's accompanied by his parents, Jody and Holly Peterson, and his sister, Allison Peterson. From Byron Center, Michigan, number 4, Dustin Tripp. Number 40, Dustin is an integrative physiology and health science major and will be pursuing a graduate assistantship in strength and conditioning. He's accompanied by Kyle and Sherry Weber and Ed and Amy Cole. From Sebewaning, Michigan, number 44, Brandon Harper. Brandon is a healthcare administration major and is accompanied by his parents, Steve and Carolyn Repke. From Manchester, Michigan, number 47, Nick Cozart. Nick is a business administration major and is accompanied by his mother, Cassandra Cozart, and his sister, Alexis Cozart. From Hopkins, Michigan, number 48, Jackson Connor. Jackson's a biochemistry major and plans on pursuing a career in forensic science. He will also be getting married to Marie McKinnon next fall. Jackson is accompanied by his parents, Todd and Tulip Connor. From Vassar, Michigan, number 51, Colton Tyson. Colton is a psychology and integrative physiology and health science double major and plans to attend graduate school. He's accompanied by his father, Greg Tyson, and his mother, Terry Moore, and stepfather, Don Moore. From Grand Rapids, Michigan, number 69, Travis Lossley. Travis is a business administration major and plans on becoming a graduate assistant on a football staff. He's accompanied by his parents, Jack and Teresa Lossley. From Chesterfield, Michigan, number 76, Ian Hickerson. Ian is a healthcare administration major and will be attending graduate school. He's accompanied by his mother, Jackie Hickerson, and his uncle, Jim Beverly. From Redford, Michigan, number 80, Jacob McKitty. Jacob is an accounting major and will be working as a certified public accountant at Deloitte after graduation. He's accompanied by his mother, Linda McKitty. From Mount Pleasant, Michigan, number 81, Dustin Nair. Dustin is an elementary education and social studies major and plans to become a teacher at the elementary or middle school level and coach football in the fall. He's accompanied by his parents, Brian and Yvonne Nair. From Rivas Junction, Michigan, number 83, Jacob Shields. Jacob is an integrative physiology and health science major and plans to pursue a Doctor of Physical Therapy degree and become a licensed physical therapist. He is accompanied by his parents, Rob and Terry Shields. From White Lake, Michigan, number 84, Eric Rohde. Eric is an English major and plans to pursue a career in publishing or advertising. He's accompanied by his parents, Tim and Lori Rohde, and his brother, Nicholas Rohde. From Wyandotte, Michigan, number 89, Tommy Cannon. Tommy is a sociology major and will be seeking a job as a high school guidance counselor while pursuing a master's degree in education. He's accompanied by his parents, Winston and Cindy Cannon. From Lansing, Michigan, number 90, Cameron Lee. Cameron is a business marketing major and will be working for PepsiCo in Detroit following graduation, while he is also looking to work toward his MBA degree. He is accompanied by his parents, Russ Lee and Diana Thompson, and his stepmom, Emily Cantor Lee. From Langsburg, Michigan, number 94, Derek Ellis. Derek is a finance major and is accompanied by his parents, Dale Ellis and Jennifer McLean, as well as his stepmother, Marie Ellis. Scots fans, let's give a round of applause for the 2017 Alma College football senior class. Mr. Dave Zerby, and conducted on the field by drum majors Sarah Jacobs, Marissa Romano, and Eli George. Let's whistle the starting lineups for today's game. First, for the Trine University Thunder, on defense, we have defensive end number 48, Hunter Hyatt. Defensive end number 97, Ryan Potts. The defensive tackles are number 11, Malik Miles, and number 77, Mason McFarland. At linebacker, number 88, Simeon Washington. Number 33, Zach DeMeester. Number 5, Kyle Wiswell. Cornerbacks are number 7, Marcus Winters, and number 1, Khalil Hill. At safeties, number 2, Robert Riley, and number 38, J.J. Fierro. And starting on offense for your Scots, we have the wide receivers, number 23, Alex Yancey, number 18, Harris Turberg, and number 81, Dustin Nyer. At tight end, number 47, Nick Cozart. The left tackle is Fisher Klein, number 74. At left guard, number 79, John Aliosi. Dakota Jelinek, number 64, is the center. Ryan Hickerson, number 76, is at right guard. And at right tackle, number 66, Jacob Headley. The quarterback is Dylan Zaborowski, number 13. And at running back, number 89, Tommy Cannon. Association promotes good sportsmanship and respect for student athletes, coaches, officials, and fans. Please join Alma College in providing a positive environment for today's competitors by refraining from making disparaging, racist, sexist, or other derogatory comments during your time at Balke Field. The MIAA encourages all of today's participants, both in competition and in the stands, to be loud, be proud, Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as we honor America and those who support our freedom at home and abroad through the playing and singing of our national anthem. The officials for today's contest are referee Greg Santilli, umpire Denny Ferguson, head linesman is Dave Driscoll, line judge Michael Antonides, side judge Mike Kronreich, field judge Mike Vandervelde, and the back judge Joseph Broussard.
Test 1, 2, test 1, 2.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Alma College Scots football here live on almascots.com via YouTube. The Scots with a stern test coming today. The Trine Thunder have come to town sporting the number 25 ranking nationally and a sparkling 8-0 record where they really have not been tested all season long. Really the closest just last week against Adrian, where Adrian hung around early in the second half, actually had that game tied up at 27 in the second half before Trine pulled away for a double-digit victory. The Scots are going to have their work cut out for them against Coach Troy Abbs and the Thunder, a really talented offense that comes in averaging nearly 500 yards a game. 499.5 is what the Thunder are averaging. They do that despite actually being last in the MIAA in passing yards, and that's because they don't need to throw the ball, averaging 340 yards per game on the ground, primarily courtesy of Lamar Carswell, who was just 56 yards away from 1,000 for the season, 129 carries, 944, and 17 touchdowns for Carswell. But then they follow him up with quarterback Evan Wise, who is just under 700 rushing yards himself on the year. Mark Wilson, 546 rushing yards and 5 more touchdowns. So a lot of weapons for Trine to bring out there. And don't forget Jeffrey Barnett, the leading receiver, 29 catches, 630 yards, 9 touchdowns there. So don't feel like, if you're the Scots, that you can just pack everybody up in the box and try to deal with things that way. A couple of injury notes before we get things going on the Alma side. Alma will be without leading tackler Colton Tyson today, out with an injury, but expect to have Caleb Reinhardt back in the backfield, not for a full load of carries, but at least for some. He will split time with Austin Spratling, who is also back from an injury, and then Tommy Cannon, who filled in ably last week with 146 yards against Olivet. Trine going to kick things away, having won the toss and deferred to the second half. This will be Chase Hinkle for the Scots from the 10. And he'll cut back across the 20, got a little seam, and cuts to the outside, driven out of bounds at the 37-yard line by Bryce Davis. And that's where the Scots will start things out. Enter for the last time in a home game, senior Dylan Zaborowski, 39 career games, and he's been on the field for every possible one of them. Leads Division III in the most plays from scrimmage for any active player, does Zaborowski. Comes in 91 of 185 on the season, just under 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Closing in, has a shot at becoming number 2 in all-time passing yards. Needs a little over 500 in the last 2 weeks to overcome Mackenzie McGrady in that department, but this is going to be Zaborowski on the ground, and that carry right there with 5-yard gain is going to put him at exactly 2,000 career rushing yards. He came in at 1995, becomes the first Scots quarterback to ever rush for 2,000 yards right there, 6th player all-time from any position. Second down and 5 as Reinhardt enters, and he's going to stutter step in the backfield and squeeze through a small hole for a pickup of about 3, brought down there in the middle by Ryan Potts, junior defensive tackle, actually out of Stevensville Lakeshore. A fair number of Michigan natives on this Trine roster, a lot from Ohio and then some from Indiana as well. Trine, the former Tri-State University located in Angola, Indiana. Third down and 2 for the Scots here on their first possession. Lars Murray, the senior captain, goes in motion. Zaborowski will call his own number and try to push through not a lot of space, and he's going to be just short, I think. The far side linesman is a fairly generous spot where he may have the first down. So it's going to depend where the umpire puts it down, and the chains are moving. So that is a first down for Zaborowski on the 2-yard pickup. We'll certainly want to strike first if it's at all possible. So many teams have struggled coming from behind against Trine this year. Trine secondary, 18 interceptions on the season because teams have been thrown into passing situations. Now a flag and a false start on the Scots. Somebody moved as they came to the line of scrimmage and tried to then set the play. So it'll be first and 15. Trine on the season averaging 49 points per game, giving up only 14.5. Just an enormous scoring disparity. Game last week against Adrian, where Trine allowed 34, one of their closer matchups, with a 21-point eventual margin of victory. Is also 23 points against Manchester in their opener, 35-12. Manchester hung around for a half in that as well. Reinhardt on first and 15, bursts off right tackle for a gain of 3. He'll pick up some of the penalty yardage, but it'll be 2nd and 12. Reinhardt still tied for third in the MIAA in touchdown runs despite limited action over the last 4 weeks due to injuries. Got off to a blazing start to the season, including a school record 241 yards against Benedictine. Zaborowski rolls out on second and long and throws and hits Murray in the secondary for a nice gain into Trine territory. Knocked out of bounds at the 43-yard line of the Thunder. And the senior from Coleman has his first grab of the game. Grabbed a 30-yarder on a trick play thrown by Brendan Newvine last week. Murray had a great game in Alma's come-from-behind win against Trine last year. 5 catches, 119 yards, and a touchdown. That was a career high with those 119 yards. Zaborowski on a keeper now behind Cannon. Finds room right through the middle, and that's going to be a pickup of 9 before all the white jerseys can close in, led by Robert Riley, the freshman free safety. And so far, there don't appear to be very big holes in the middle for the Scots, but the Scots backs, both Zaborowski and Reinhardt, finding space and getting on the move. 2nd down and 1, chance for the Scots to take a shot if they want to, and it'll just be Reinhardt up the middle for the first down as Potts makes another tackle. Weather here is, I'd give it an unqualified awful. 41 degrees listed as the temperature, feels a lot colder than that. Rain expected throughout the day. Zach Bosley running the camera for us today up on the roof, bundled up like he's ready for a trip to the North Pole, and I think that was wise preparation on his part. It's not going to be a nice day, and I think we will see more action on the ground than usual out of both of these teams. Trine, of course, very comfortable doing that, but Alma with Reinhardt will lean on him as much as possible as he squeezes his way to the 26 on first down, picks up 4. Talking with the Alma coaching staff, of course, they're thrilled to have Caleb available at all. They don't think they can lean on him for a full 25 carry load, though. Still bothered by that ankle injury. 2nd and 6 with 10:49 to go, first quarter. Over 4 minutes on this Scots drive already. Reinhardt again. Left guard leans forward. And that's Simeon Washington, the leading tackler for this Trine defense. Had 55 tackles coming into today. 3 last year against the Scots, but coming off a 13 tackle performance last week against Adrian. Reinhardt will come out. Tommy Cannon subs in on 3rd down and 2. As Alma will try to keep this drive going probably outside of Plisco's field goal range under these conditions. Zaborowski, keeper behind Cannon, sidesteps to his left and has the first down to the 19. And once again, the Scots efficient on 3rd down. They've been 43% on 3rd down all season long, and multiple 3rd down conversions on this opening possession. Trine at 8-0 and 4-0 in MIAA league play has not locked up the conference title because they have to play Olivet next week, who still has only one conference loss and could force a share and then potentially a tiebreaker win, I suppose. Cozart in motion back and forth. Will settle on the right side of the formation on 1st and 10. Zaborowski keeps it, sidestep to his left, and now behind Headley and into the pile. And the pile appears to be parked at the 16-yard line for a gain of 3. Scott's moving into a pretty stiff breeze out of the north. On this less than pleasant afternoon, it is a good day to be inside in the press box. Yancey and Murray, who had the 3rd down grab, split wide to the left. Now Alma will take a collective gander to the sideline. Trine in a 5-2 defensive alignment, which is what their base will be, daring you to throw in front of them. They'll just sit back in their secondary for the most part, according to the Alma coaching staff. Zaborowski right side for 3 more. 3rd down and 4 coming up. And we'll see if the Scots can pick up another 3rd down on this opening possession. Already 2 of 2. And hoping the 3rd time is the charm as well. Reinhardt back in there, 17 rushing yards already on this drive. Zaborowski has 26. And And Zaborowski will holler to his offensive line. Kozart going to line up at a more traditional tight end. It's a 2 tight end set with Shields on the left side, called keeper again for Zaborowski. Not much there, and he's just going to try to push and lean for it, and he's close, right at the 10-yard line. This may require a measurement. It surely would be go time if he doesn't have it. Officials signal 4th down. And we've got a Trine player hobbled at the end of that play. Try to pick that up. That's Dylan Hensley down there, the junior defensive tackle out of Granger, Indiana. And so Alma will get a chance to kind of think things over as they approach this 4th and short, just shy of the 10-yard line. Alma's been awfully good on 4th down as well this year. 16 of 27 4th down conversions. That's 59%. And Hensley will hop to his feet and head to the sideline. So good to see there. 17 tackles on the season and a forced fumble from the junior. So here we go. First huge play of this first quarter. Alma's run more than 7 minutes off the clock and driven all the way to the 10-yard line, but they need about the 9 3/4. It'll be an empty backfield for Zaborowski, and now a massive shift as Reinhardt will come back in there. Will they lean on him as they did at the end of the Benedictine game? They will, and Reinhardt's got the first down and then some, fighting his way towards the goal line and almost in there, dragged down at the 1-yard line by Kyle Wiswell. So Alma gets the first down and then some, and now 1st and goal for the Scots, as they will look to serve notice on the MIAA leaders that maybe don't put this one in the books quite so quickly. Reinhardt on 1st and goal, hitting the backfield, goes the wrong way on that one. That's going to be Malik Miles with his first stop of the game. Miles, 3 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries already this year. And changing the complexion a little bit from 1st and goal inside the 2, now to 2nd and goal fully out at the 3. Yancey to the right. Murray having a little trouble figuring out the play call as he is split wide to the left. Zaborowski on the season, 10 passing touchdowns and 6 more on the ground. Reinhardt, 11 touchdowns, including at one point a 5-game stretch dating back to last year with 2 or more touchdowns. But it'll be Zaborowski nearly untouched off the left side, and a Scots touchdown. Dylan Zaborowski, a tremendous opening drive for the Scots, coupled with Caleb Reinhardt, and making it very clear that here on Senior Day, he's not going to go quietly. The Scots will roll out the swinging gate, and we'll see there is the potential to run a trick play out of this, and they're going to snap it and go. Rather than shift to kick, they'll throw into the corner. It's tipped and just knocked away from Harper, and that was Wiswell adjusting well as the defensive back. So the Scots run the trick out of the swinging gate. They do not convert. It'll be 6-0 though after a tremendous first drive. Alma will kick it away to this powerful Trine offense in just a moment.
You can follow the Scots all season long on your mobile device with the Alma College Front Row app. Search Alma Scots in the App Store or Google Play and download the free app that gives you access to live stats, video, and more. Alma Scots Front Row.
So a tremendous start for the Alma Scots. Nearly a 9-minute drive down the field to a touchdown. Trick play, 2-point conversion, try no good, so it'll be 6-0 as Plisco will come on to kick it away. Seth Boggs back deep along with the very dangerous Jeffrey Barnett, a 32.1-yard kick return average, and he's going to get a chance here from the 9-yard line. Barnett with top speed across the middle of the field, and look at him go across the 35, trips over his own man, crosses the 40 out to the 44, and we'll see if the Scots have second thoughts about kicking to Barnett later in the day after that flying return out to the 44-yard line. Alma already got burned by one talented kick returner back in the Manchester game, starting off that second half and starting Manchester's rally. It was Dakota Nelson who took one to the house early in that second half. Here comes Evan Wise, first year as the starting quarterback, replaced Brandon Ruse, and they'll throw on first down. It's Barnett leaping to make the grab, ball loose and grabbed by the Scots, and I believe that will be a completed pass and a turnover. If there is a weakness of this Trine, no, they've signaled second down, so Trine actually got that back at the bottom of the pile. The Scots were ready to roll the offense out there, and what a job by Barnett to stay with that play, and it's a completion for a gain of 5. Trine is fumble prone. That is maybe the biggest weakness of this Thunder squad. 9 lost fumbles on the year. Lamar Carswell, the superstar running back, just under 1,000 yards, has 11 career lost fumbles. He'll go in motion to the left. With the rainy conditions today, holding on to the football will be a premium. This will be Wise calling his own number, sprinting out to the right, and the Scots string it out well and tackle him inbounds near midfield. 3rd down and 4 coming up. Wise, the reigning MIAA Offensive Player of the Week, after a 421-yard total yard performance. He had 421 of Trine's 690 total yards against Adrian last week. 3rd down and 3 for the Thunder, and they're going to go 5 wide. Wise will send Barnett in motion, hand it to him on the jet sweep. Well blocked. And Barnett will turn it up, pick up the first down. Not a whole lot more, but he only needed 4, and he's going to get about 7 down to the Scots 43. 6-0 Alma, 5:02 to play in the first quarter. Trine now trying to answer the early Alma touchdown on their first possession. Let's look at those stats from the quarterback, Wise. Out of Ohio, 56 of 94, not a ton of attempts, 1,187 yards, but 16 touchdowns against only 2 interceptions, and has not been intercepted since week 3. Handoff pulled back from Carswell, and it'll be Wise straight ahead for a pickup of 3 to the 39. Wise, of course, very comfortable carrying the ball himself, 85 rushes, 698 yards, and 8 touchdowns. He got some action against the Scots last year as Alma overcame a 23-0 early deficit to win down at Trine. But it was all on the ground, 6 carries for 50 yards. 4 Wise. Here's a speed play to Carswell, but met at the linebacker level and driven backwards for a gain down to the 36. And another 3rd down coming up. Call it 3rd and 3.5. Just under 4 minutes now to play. And Trine will make massive substitutions, including the entry of Esakella, a familiar face to Scots fans. He had 2 catches for 15 yards in this game last year, but he had them for Alma. Now a transfer down to Trine, originally a high school player from Wyoming, Godwin Heights, and he's in the left side slot on 3rd down and 4, and everybody's moving, and the ball is still sitting on the 37-yard line, and that will cost you 5 yards every time.
Okay, new personnel, 13.
And as you see, Trine more than comfortable just shuffling people in and out very, very quickly. Eric Peters going to come in, the 6'1", 300-pound freshman on the left side of the offensive line. So bigger personnel. It appears that Boggs, primarily a wide receiver, but does have 27 carries this year. Now he'll burst out of the backfield, and they'll go empty. 3rd down and 10 now as Tripp brings pressure. Wise flush to his right, throws just shy of the line of scrimmage. Looking for Boggs, and a great catch in single coverage down there against Luckhurst, and a first down for the Thunder at the 21. Beautiful running toss by the quarterback Wise, and Boggs with his 6th reception of the year moves the chains.
Still 13. Nope, 91's out.
And as you can see, reminiscent of the 2001 St. Louis Rams, whatever formation you see at first is probably not the one Trine is planning to run for the actual play. And here again comes Barnett in motion. Jet sweep, slides through a small opening, crosses the 20 to about the, give him the 19. Pickup of 3. And Carswell right back in there.
83's out. 83 is out.
We have the Alma defensive coaches in the booth right next to us, and they are frantically trying to relay these Trine substitutions down to the coaches on the sideline so Alma can adjust its own personnel. 2:10 to play in the first quarter, 6-0 Alma, but Trine on the move. Wise will hand to Carswell, tries to get around the left side of the line, cut back just up the numbers, slips it about the 12-yard line and slides down at the 10. This is going to be 1st and goal, and the Scots frankly lucky that Carswell lost his footing because he had his eyes on the goal line and touchdown number 18 of the year.
13's coming in.
Pair of 200-yard games for Carswell, including last week, 205 yards, 3 touchdowns against Adrian. You will check out hobbling, actually, so it looks like maybe a tweaked right ankle for Carswell as he went down awkwardly there. There comes the massive shift. Trine will now reset to avoid a motion penalty, and Wise is going to keep it on 1st and goal. Got a hole off the left side, dragging his way down inside the 5 to the 4, where Jake Curtin makes the stop. Curtin going to see a lot more action than usual today with Tyson out with the injury. 2nd and goal at the 5 coming up for Trine. 6-0 Alma, just over a minute to play in the first quarter. Boggs will flood out in motion, and Wise heads to the right, looking for a lane. Not much there, and the Scots stand that one up. I think the officials will spot him at the 5, so no gain whatsoever. And 3rd and goal as Alma will look to force Trine into an early field goal try. Sort of a two-pronged kicking game from Trine. Lucas Garza is the PAT guy, 48 of 51 on the season, also has kicked 2 of 3 field goals. They also have Ryan Hibbets with a little bigger leg. He handled the opening kickoff, made 2 40-yard field goals against Hope, although one was nullified by a penalty. An important 3rd down and goal coming up here. Elijah Klepper will be the tight end on the left side of the formation. He's in motion and a timeout called. Trine's going to try to talk this one over a little bit. They stop it with just 11 seconds left in the quarter. And the play clock was rolling down. And certainly this is the type of situation where a first half timeout can easily be justified with the difference between 3rd and goal from the 5 versus 3rd and goal from the 10. Take a quick look elsewhere in college football. Wisconsin has erased an early 10-0 deficit against Indiana and leads 14-10 down in East Lansing, where we understand the weather is possibly worse than here. Penn State leads Michigan State 14-7. That game listed as being in a weather delay right now, so not a nice day to be down trying to watch the Spartans. Looking at our forecast, we think we're going to be able to get everything in without interruption, that it's just going to be ugly, rainy, maybe some hard rain at times, but we're hoping to avoid any kind of lightning or other issues that would require stoppage of play. So here we go out of the timeout. 6-0 Alma, 11 seconds left in the first quarter. Trine looking at 3rd and goal from the 5. They'll split 3 wide receivers out to the left. Jacob Chesney out there as well. 5 wide overall, and now another whistle as there's trouble with the play clock. They need to get that reset back to 25 seconds.
John's got to move out. Yes, John, more.
Wise has liked to run in these situations, but he's going to look to throw. Now he'll take off and run. Hit, dragged down, and the Scots have him. Peterson finishes him off, but it was Ellis through there first, along with, let's see who comes out at the very bottom of the pile, Hunter Hoffman. He grabbed the jersey, and now 4th and goal from the 3, between the 3 and the 4 actually, and we'll find out in the second quarter whether Trine wants to go or if they will send out Garza or Hibbets. So a quick break here. The Scots lead after 1, 6-0. Action continues right after this.
You can support the Scots by becoming a member of the Alma College Varsity Club. Members of the Varsity Club help make a positive impact on the lives of student athletes at Alma College. For more information, visit almascots.com/varsity club.
After 15 minutes of action so far, a result that the Alma Scots will be very pleased with, leading 6-0 against this high-powered Trine Thunder attack, coming in averaging 49 points per game. Trine going to be looking at 4th and goal from the 4, and they show that they will go for it. Carswell in the backfield, along with Wise, who will set up in the shotgun. Everybody else floods to the right side, although I would expect at least some realignment, and it'll be Barnett going in motion before things get underway. Wise going to roll to his right, probably a run-pass option, and run-pass turns into run. Met at the 2 and brought down. What a tackle by Max Kretschmar, and the Scots get the goal line stand. Wise decided to pull it down, try to take off on the run. Kretschmar abandoned his coverage, stepped up, and made the tackle with just inches to spare. And the Scots with a dramatic stop, and they'll get the offense back on the field, still with the 6-0 lead. Series between these two teams is dead even at 7 apiece, but Alma's win at Trine last year was their first in Angola since 2006. And they'd love nothing more to come back and hold serve with an upset win at home, but the first thing that needs to be accomplished from Alma's perspective is getting out of the shadow of the goal line. 14 seconds on the play clock. Of course, a delay of game penalty would cost about 4 inches here. Zaborowski stands in the end zone, and he's going to take it upon himself to get out of there, which he does. And actually will progress all the way to the 7 before he's driven out of bounds by Miles and a couple of other Thunder defenders. Good patient run by Zaborowski there. Often pretty easy to get happy feet back in your own goal line or in your own end zone. But waited for that play to develop, turned it into a gain of 5. Gives Alma a little bit more room to function, and also at least eliminates some of the risk of things like a holding in the end zone penalty. Zaborowski going to come straight up on a quarterback draw. Not much there this time. He'll be driven all the way back. He'll be in the end zone before they pull him down. Forward progress to the 7. They're actually going to give him a gain of about half a yard.
Third down, punt's hot. Punt is hot.
Clock running here early in the second quarter. 6-0 Scots. Other MIAA scores. Hope leads Albion 6-3. That's late in the first quarter there. No score update from Adrian and Olivet. They may be having the same weather issues that are plaguing things down in East Lansing. 3rd down and 4 for the Scots. And Zaborowski wants to throw all kinds of time, and he's going to look for everything over the middle for Yancey and overthrows him at the 40. And that'll bring on Terberg for an uncomfortable punt from his end zone. Terberg with a 32.5-yard punt average on the season. Has thrown twice out of punt formation, but you can bet that's not coming right now. If he's going to duplicate something from earlier in the season, he'd much prefer that to be his 53-yard long punt on the year. Marcus Winters back deep to return for the Thunder. Averages 17 yards per punt return. Kind of a wobbly spiral that slipped out of Terberg's hands, and it's going to go out of bounds at about the 24-yard line. So a 17-yard punt for Terberg. And Trine will be right back in business with terrific field position, trailing 6-0 here early in the second quarter. Take a look at those Trine stats so far, Wise. 2 of 2 through the air for 25 yards, 13 yards on the ground. But, of course, the key stop by Kretschmar just short of the goal line on 4th down on the previous possession. Boggs in the slot. Andrew Bonfilio, the second leading receiver on this Trine team, wide to the right. They'll try Carswell instead, but he's got a stutter step in the backfield as one of his offensive linemen was driven backwards and plugged up the road. Good work by the Scots along the defensive line to drive Tristan Edwards back. It's a loss of a yard. Trine had a prolific day passing against the Scots last year. 2 players, both Barnett and Bonfilio, double-digit catches and over 100 yards. Barnett had 244 yards. As Roos threw for over 400. Play action fake. Wise a wobbler, but it's going to be caught by Bonfilio, who holds on. You could see that ball slip right up his elbow, and he pinched it in there and just went to the ground at the 10. First down yardage on Bonfilio's first catch of the game. Pamphilio's numbers actually have dropped a bit this year, had 54 receptions each of the last 2 seasons. That's only his 16th grab of the year here in week 9. 6-0 Scots, but Trine threatening once again. They're going to try to sprint. Carswell to the outside, steps out of a tackle, has the corner. Kretschmar gives him a shove towards the pylon. Did he get in? No signal yet. The official's going to think it over and say out of bounds at the 1. But it will be 2nd down and goal with inches to go. They indicate that was already a goal-to-go situation. So good job by Kretschmar to at least force Trine to run another play. But the Thunder are inches plus an extra point from taking the lead in this one. Plug things up with everybody right in the middle, just try to plow a hole for Carswell. Hitting the backfield, but he spins to his right and leans across, and Trine has tied things up at 6 on Lamar Carswell's 18th touchdown of the season. So Trine unable to capitalize on their first drive of the year, but they do take advantage of the short punt from the Scots. And now Garza will come on to try to give Trine the lead. Alma, when they scored, ran the trick play out of the swinging gate, and Kyle Wiswell tipped away the pass from Ippel. And that'll give Garza a chance. Low snap. Scots get a lot of pressure, and the kick is wide left, so we'll stay tied at 6. Not a lot that Garza could do there after the snap came back on one hop, so we'll take a quick pause and come back here 6-6. Alma and Trine all tied up, continuing in a minute. Chase Hinkle, Chris Luckhurst back deep to return the Ryan Hibbett's kickoff. 6-6. We're tied up, a pair of touchdowns, but missed extra points. Alma on a trick try, and Lucas Garza just wide to the left moments ago after Carswell tied things up. Alma, after a very successful first offensive possession, didn't go very far on their second try after having to start on their own 1-yard line. High hanging kick, and Hinkle will field it at the 7. He'll try outside the numbers right up the sideline, hurdles over a couple of tacklers and dances towards the sideline, eventually out of bounds at the 35. And a nimble return from Hinkle, who averages over 25 per kick return. And Alma will have a little more space to operate on this third possession of the game. 12:05 to go, second quarter, 6-6. Trine ranked number 25 in the country in Division III football, and Alma so far hanging with them shot for shot. Dylan Zaborowski, who's 1 of 2 through the air, but has 10 carries for 38 yards. Will come out at quarterback. Caleb Reinhardt back in the action after missing last week with an injury. Reinhardt will get the carry on first down and initiates the contact, leans forward, takes J.J. Fierro with him for a pickup of almost 7. Fierro at 5'9", 200, getting the brunt of the 5'8", 183 of Reinhardt there. 2nd and 3. They'll fake it, try to swing it out to Murray, who has to spin around to make the catch, and he'll run into Khalil Hill, the superstar defensive back. Hill and Winters probably the 2 best DBs in the MIAA. Hill coming in with interceptions. Catch this, folks, in 6 consecutive games. That is not something that you commonly see. To get 6 interceptions in a season is crazy enough as it is. 3rd down and 3 after no gain to Murray. And it'll be Zaborowski, and he's got the first down and then some. Once again, Zaborowski finding room up the middle. That's his 11th carry of this first half. And into Trine territory. Washington, along with a couple other Thunder players on the tackle. Trine on their sports info website does not list a formal defensive coordinator. That's because Coach Troy Abbs is the defensive guy. He was the defensive coordinator for quite some time, has been with the Trine program since 2006. 5-2 alignment again. Reinhardt will run against it, find very little there, and that ball came loose. Malik Miles came in and knocked it loose, but they will indicate that Reinhardt was already down. Alma has struggled a little bit in the turnover battle this year. -8 on the season really plagued them last week in the loss to Olivet. They were down 18-7 at halftime, but things had kind of shifted in their direction. But then 4 turnovers in the third quarter prevented any hope of a rally as Olivet pulled away. Roll out from Zaborowski on 2nd and 10, throws on the run, slipping down and unable to reach back is Yancey at the 39. Ball thrown a little bit behind him. It was the only place Zaborowski could put it and still have it in bounds. But we've seen both teams slipping a little bit on the field turf here today. As light rain continues to come down, most fans in the stands with the big umbrellas up. Appears we've lost our video feed, so let's go to a radio style call here briefly. There's some light. Okay, we're getting focus back in, so hopefully we'll have some footage for you shortly. 3rd down and 10 for the Scots. They'll go 4 wide. Zaborowski stands at his own 45. Sits in, flings it over the middle and dropped by Kruger right at the first down marker. Ball just a tad short of Kruger and incomplete. So 4th and 10, and the Scots will be forced to send on the punt team. We're going to work on these video issues here. In the meantime, you can get a good look at the trees, it appears. 6-6, Trine and Alma with 10:03 to play second quarter. And now a flag down as Alma comes out and lines up as if they were going to go for the 4th down. They send on Spratling. That was in all. And Kruger called, I believe, for 12 players in the huddle. And there we go, got the video back for you now. But Alma lining up as if they would go for it at the 50 on 4th and 10. They oftentimes will quick kick and have Zaborowski punt out of this formation. It appears that they're going to line up that way again on 4th and 15. Zaborowski punted 6 times out of this last year, and that's exactly what he'll do when he gets it blocked. Trine with a great deal of pressure gets right into the face of Zaborowski, and he punts it right into the back of the offensive line, and Trine switches things around, and they'll get great field position at the 25. That is the risk of doing that. Zaborowski in that sort of fake shotgun is not very far behind the line of scrimmage. Trine brought straight ahead pressure and drove the offensive line straight backwards, and Tyrone Bruce was right in the face of Zaborowski, who had no place to punt it away. Trine will come back out, still a 6-6 tie, but Alma now forced into an uncomfortable situation. Carswell sprint to the left, tries to turn up, and Ramirez steps in for a nice tackle back at the 30, a loss of a couple. And one has to believe that Trine was aware of what Alma was going to try to do there, that they were not likely to actually run a play and go for that. I had seen Zaborowski warming up some punts before the game, but that one does not work as the Scots had hoped. 2nd down and 11 for Trine. Wise will fake it to Carswell, drop with all kinds of time. Look to the corner for Barnett. It's underthrown and tipped away. Colin Smith got the fingertips, could not high point it enough to make the interception, but knocked away. 3rd down and 11. Colin Smith, an excellent defensive play as that ball floated a little bit on Wise into the wind. Carswell will come out. Boggs will come in. Boggs had a nice 3rd down conversion catch back in the first quarter where he motioned out of the backfield and then ran a deep crossing route, and Wise found him. Here comes the same motion along with a sort of a shift into now a 3-receiver train. Scots look a little confused. Wise, deep drop pressure comes, and Wise is going to be sacked back at the 40. Derek Ellis, the first one through. Tripp gets there too. Tripp, of course, the career sacks leader after 3.5 last week, gave him 23 on his career. 12 sacks this season. The season record for Alma is 17, and that was actually back before the career stats were kept back in 1999. So Tripp would need 5 in the last 2 weeks to match that. But nonetheless, the Scots with a crucial stop, and that will force Riley on to punt it away for Trine. Hinkle stands back at his 10. Not a lot of pressure. High spiraling kick. Fair catch signal, and then Hinkle's going to say, never mind, I don't want anything to do with this. Favorable bounce that goes out of bounds at the 4, but I think you have to applaud the Hinkle decision for recognizing that trying to catch that in the breeze with a number of Thunder defenders in his face could only lead to disaster. But for the second time in 4 possessions, the Scots will start in uncomfortable field position. At the same time, they find themselves tied up at 6-6 against the league leaders. And they'll be awful pleased with that with 8:25 to go in the second quarter. Zaborowski and Reinhardt will set up just on the other side of the goal line. Trine puts 9 guys up along the line of scrimmage or just a yard or 2 behind it. Safety's not terribly deep. Riley stands at the 13. Reinhardt, first down carry, slices back to his right, and he'll be met at the 7. And pushed backwards in there by Elias Gates. 4-yard gain as the rain picks up a little bit here. Neither team having tremendously prolific success through the air, even though the completion numbers are pretty good. Zaborowski 2 for 3, Wise 3 for 4. Zaborowski will keep it himself. Kind of slides with the left shoulder and then tries to push forward, move that pile. He's going to make it to the 13, which will be about 2 yards short of the first down marker. And Zaborowski, pardon me, now 2 for 5 passing, which is a bit more reflective of the conditions. Stats had not updated for me there quite quickly enough. Clock runs with 7:20 to play in the second quarter. 6-6 tie, and trouble with the play clock again. They now get it moved back to 25 seconds, so the Scots have plenty of time here on 3rd down and 2. They will look to the sideline, get an update on the play call from Danny Warnick, the passing game coordinator. Still 10 on the play clock as they get it off. Zaborowski, right side run, first down, and a little extra cushion to the 17, almost 18. And that is now the 13th carry of this game for Dylan Zaborowski in the first half. His carry numbers for a quarterback really quite remarkable. Had 160 carries, so that's 20 carries per game coming into today as a quarterback, and well on that pace and then some. First down for the Scots, who will go with 2 tight ends, both Cozart and Shields out there. Reinhardt into the middle. And Trine starting to recognize that that should be priority number 1 to defend, but Reinhardt still gets 2. Alma at some point will need to roll out either a play-action pass or something to get either Zaborowski or Reinhardt onto the sideline. Quickly to the line, and now the look over. And if you notice, the Trine players all look with Alma to the sideline, doing their best to interpret Alma's signals and see if they can pick anything up. That is the risk of getting the signal in that fashion, if Trine can figure out how to decipher it. Sort of a called sweep this time, and Zaborowski will head to the perimeter, give him the 25, 3rd down and 3 coming up. Washington in on the stop for the Thunder. And an important 3rd down here with 5:28 to go. It would be tons of time if Trine was to get the ball back right now. Trine will receive the second half kickoff. 6-6 tie. Alma at least looking to burn a little more clock, even if they can't progress all the way downfield. Reinhardt cuts back to the left, and he's got room this time across the 35 all the way to the 38. Hauled down out there by Gates. finds himself involved for the third different time making a tackle on this possession, as the Scots are getting into the second level and putting some pressure on Gates and Riley, the other safety. So Reinhardt looking pretty good despite being hobbled with the injury. 51 yards for him, 61 for Zaborowski. Reinhardt again, and again, just through tiny little tunnels there in the middle, but the Scots getting good pickups from both Reinhardt and Zaborowski in the middle. John Aloisi leading the train that time. Alma has had 4 different ball carriers with a 100-yard rushing game this year. Reinhardt with a couple, Zaborowski has done it, Spratling did it against Benedictine, and Tommy Cannon did it last week against Olivet. Cannon is in there now as Reinhardt will get a breather, 2nd down and 6. That means Zaborowski time. And this time Trine is there, and Zaborowski's going nowhere, and he'll pay the price for that particular carry. Wiswell amongst multiple Thunder tacklers. Washington, one of the first ones to arrive. And now 3rd and 6. And Alma will change up the personnel. Spratling will come in as the back. Terberg is an extra receiver. And again, the rain picking up. Going to make this an uncomfortable situation for Alma to have to throw for it if that's what they want to do. Trine goes 5 DBs, so there could be room in the middle if Zaborowski wants to pull it down and run. Three on the play clock. Scots need to hurry. They do get it off. And Zaborowski double-teamed, lobs it over the middle for Yancey and tipped away by the talented Winters and incomplete. Inches separated, touchdown and incompletion on that one, and Winters got the left hand up with the fingers outstretched and just poked it away. And now looking at 4th down and 7. Scott's not going to mess around in the punting game this time. However, they're going to switch things up, and Evan Albright, freshman out of Redford, Michigan, will come on to punt instead of Terberg this time. So after the Scots had the sort of trick punt blocked on the previous possession, we'll now change the personnel up, and a wobbly spiral carrying with the wind down to the 29-yard line. And good work there by Albright. Trine will have 3 minutes and 14 seconds and 2 timeouts to work with to try to take the lead. Alma would love nothing more to at least get this to the break, tied at 6. Lamar Carswell with the Trine touchdown, but held to only 20 yards. Still needs another 36 to hit 1,000 on the season. Acknowledged by most of the Scots coaching staff to be potentially the most dangerous player offensively in the entire MIAA. But Alma has neutralized him for the most part so far. Keeper from Wise, and he's got room to the left and right up the field now. Cuts one way and the other. Kretschmar trying to decide which way to go to make the tackle and guesses wrong. Wise down the sideline and inside the 20 before he's finally brought down from behind. Wise deceptive with that option look to Carswell and then took it right up. And Kretschmar, who saved the touchdown on the first Trine possession on 4th and goal, just no hope to know which way to go while he was backpedaling, and Wise went right by. Trine going to mix things up at quarterback a little bit. They'll bring in Andrew Duckett. And this is not uncommon. They actually have 3 commonly used quarterbacks on the season. Duckett is 7 of 8 passing, has 113 rushing yards. He'll spin a little confusion, hands it off to Carswell, and the Scots are right there. Martinez comes through and makes the stop, as I think that Duckett may have turned the wrong direction. Martinez coming off a 6-tackle performance last week against Olivet and makes that one for a 3-yard loss. Freshman out of Alvin, Texas. Duckett stays in at quarterback. He'll be alone in the backfield this time, unless Trine now will shift Carswell back, fake the jet sweep, and look to throw. Heading it towards the left side. Ball slipped out of the hands. Clearly did not come out cleanly from Duckett under late pressure from Peterson, and incomplete. 3rd down and 13 coming up.
Nope, new personnel. All the tight ends are out. 10, 10, 10.
Do your best to keep track of the Trine personnel changes as they shuttle in and out. And now the official's going to take a timeout, trying to figure out an issue with the game clock. Going to put 3 more seconds on it to 1:56 as Trine looks at 3rd and 13. 6-6 try. Wise is back in at quarterback after a couple plays from Duckett. It was his lengthy run that got this possession going. Flushed out to the right under pressure from Ellison Tripp. Throws wobbly, nobody there. Then coming at the last second, Barnett almost made the catch. I thought that was going to drop a good yard in front of him, and Barnett closed from deep in the end zone, but knocked away at the last second by Smith and Luckhurst's tackle. And that will force Trine to bring out the field goal unit. The way that ball came out of the hands of Wise, I thought it was dead in the water at about the 2-yard line, but Barnett almost turned that into a miracle. So that'll bring out Ryan Hibbets. He is the longer field goal kicker, the stronger leg. 2 for 3 on the season, both from 40 yards. Had another 40-yarder called back by a penalty. This will be from 39. As you can see, lots of length, but off the upright and no good. So the Scots so far have gotten a goal line stand, a denied extra point, and now a field goal try off the upright, and this game will stay tied. And because of the quick stop, Alma's going to get it back with 1:45 to go and 3 timeouts. So plenty of time for the Scots to roll out the offense and try to put some points on the board before halftime. That kick from Hibbets caught the inside portion of the upright, probably an inch to the right, and that gets the favorable bounce that kicks through, but the bounce just kind of dead and straight down, and the try no good. Zaborowski returns for the Scots, now 2 for 6 through the air. He'll roll left and look to throw. And ball tipped up, had some space in front of him where he might have been able to run, but instead he'll challenge Logan Konopka, the senior out of Grass Lake, who reaches up and tips it away, incomplete, 2nd down. If you're just joining us, this Trine secondary is a dangerous one to throw against. Of course, with Trine jumping out to so many early leads this year, teams have been forced to throw, and that has translated into 18 Thunder interceptions. 7 of those belong to Khalil Hill, 5 more to Marcus Winters, who had all 5 in a 3-game stretch. Interception against Wisconsin Lutheran, 2 the next week against Concordia, 2 the next week against Albion. 2nd and 10 for the Scots. Clock stopped after the incompletion with 1:40 to play in the half. Zaborowski now quarterback keeper and bounces off of one of the Trine defenders for a pickup of about 3, maybe 4. Spot will be out near the 32. So actually close to 5 by the time all is said and done. Scots are going to let the clock run here, which Trine will allow them to do. Alma doesn't want to preserve too much time in case they don't convert this 3rd down, but at the same time, Trine not going to leave Alma extra time in case they do. All squared up at 6 apiece, and another delay. Play clock running down. Looks like Alma's going to run as much time off the clock as possible and then take a timeout. And that will be the plan. They'll stop it with 48 seconds to go in the 2nd quarter. Score update, Hope now leads Albion 14-3, playing at home today as the Dutch try to keep things rolling on their nice season. They took it on the chin pretty well against Trine, though. Trine really asserting themselves against the preseason MIAA favorites. That was 2 weeks ago. Final score of 50-14 in that one. And this is a Trine team that really has exceeded expectations, only voted 4th by the MIAA coaches in the preseason poll, but has clearly been the class of the league so far. Alma playing them as tough as anybody has in this 6-6 tie. As we mentioned, Adrian last week had that game tied at 27 before Trine ran away to a 55-34 win that eventually featured 690 yards of total offense from the Thunder. It's going to be 3rd and 6 for Alma here with 48 seconds left in the half. And we'll see what the Scots choose to do personnel-wise. Looks like they will bring Jacob McKitty, the senior tight end, in, line him up in sort of Cozart's traditional wing position, otherwise go 4 wide, empty backfield. 4-3 front from Trine. Zaborowski sits in the pocket. The rain is briefly stopped. Pocket collapses. And Zaborowski keeps the play alive. Now drops the ball, and it's loose, and it's going to be picked up back at the 16-yard line by Trine. A catastrophic situation for the Scots. And Malik Miles is the beneficiary as Zaborowski heroically kept the play alive. Now let's see. There's a downfield flag. It will not be pass interference because no pass was thrown. But if it's a defensive hold, that could save the Scots here. Zaborowski miraculously kept that play alive under pressure, but then as he went to cock the ball, it slipped right out of his hand. As I mentioned, the rain has stopped, or at least significantly lightened, but it's still wet out there. So it is a defensive hold on Khalil Hill, and the Scots granted a reprieve there. That would have been first down Trine with 40 seconds left in the half at the Scots 16-yard line. Instead, a 10-yard penalty and an automatic first down out to the 37. And Alma gets another chance. Alma still has 2 timeouts left and a fresh set of downs. Zaborowski looking a little confused as the clock is now running. Alma might want to use one of those timeouts and regroup. Hinkle doesn't look like he knows quite what he's supposed to do. Alma loses 11 seconds and now a bad snap. Zaborowski throws over the middle behind McKitty and incomplete. And that was just a play that looked like trouble from the start. Some confusion, the clock running. Alma burns 15 seconds there and probably is fortunate to get away with an incompletion after the troublesome snap and the throw behind McKitty. Second down and 10 with 25 seconds to go. Wind behind the Scots, so they could think about a field goal try if they could pick up maybe 35 yards. Zaborowski going to look for most of that, trying to find Murray. Defensive back fell down, but the ball just overthrown, and Murray couldn't run it down. He got tangled up a little bit with Hill. Hill hit the turf, but Murray could not accelerate fast enough to get underneath that throw, and it's incomplete. 3rd and 10 with 19 seconds.
Okay, 19 seconds. It's 3rd down.
Spratling will be the running back if Alma chooses to keep this on the ground. There is some room in the middle. 3rd down and 10 for the Scots. It will be Spratling on his first carry of the game. He's going to be short of the first down. Will Alma take a timeout here, or will they just head to the locker room with 10 seconds left in the half? It's 4th down and a yard and a half. 7 seconds is where the clock will stop, and Alma will pause it. So, with 7 seconds to go, ball at the 45, Alma could theoretically try to pick up the first down and then immediately use the last timeout for one more shot deep, or they could try to run a play deep, trying to make sure that it took at least 7 seconds to run out the clock if it was unsuccessful. I think both those options are in play. 6-6 tie here. Alma struck first on their opening possession, ran a trick play on the extra point that was unsuccessful. Trine came back, got stopped on 4th and goal as Kretschmar stepped up to tackle Evan Wise inside the 1-yard line. Then Trine answered with a Lamar Carswell touchdown, missed the extra point. Trine also with a missed field goal off the left upright. And that's how we got to 6-6 with 7 seconds remaining here till halftime. So we'll see what the Scots offensive staff dials up here. See if Danny Warnick and Drew Burton have anything left in the bag of tricks that they haven't brought out yet. 4th down and 1. It'll be an empty backfield. Cozart in a 3-point stance at tight end on the left side of the line. Zaborowski scoops a low snap. They're going to throw for everything. Yancey double covered out there, and it'll be incomplete with 1 second left. That's the risk. If you don't burn quite enough time, Trine gets a try. They'll have it at Alma's 46 after the turnover on downs. Certainly not anything that they can do other than go to the end zone or try to look for a defensive penalty. It'll be a lengthy throw for Wise if he tries to get it to the end zone into the wind. And Alma still a little confused on their own personnel. Now they'll pull Smith off. And it looks like Trine, timeout now going to be called by Alma, as they're a little surprised by the Trine alignment, which sort of had elements of suggesting that Trine was just going to head to the locker room, but then a wide receiver out to the left, and I think Coach Greg Piscadna is going to tell the guys that no matter what they do, whether they come out in a victory formation, we're going to set up and defend like they're going to the end zone. And that's probably a smart decision. Nonetheless, the Scots are one defensive play from getting to the break, tied up against the MIAA leaders, and you can certainly bet that if they were offered the opportunity to play a 30-minute game rather than a 60-minute game against Trine for all the marbles, they would have accepted that at the beginning of the day. So Boggs will be the running back for the Thunder, and we'll see whether they try to get fancy here at all. And here comes the shift. Train of receivers now to the left. It looks like they will go deep. Tripp will come through and try to get to Wise. Wise slips away, and now he'll just lob it out of bounds and head to the locker room. Good work by Dustin Tripp to say you're not going to have enough time to get the receivers to the end zone if you are trying. Now, here's an unfortunate development for Alma, though. Tripp is up and grabbing his arm and now kneeling down at midfield. And that would be a real shame if something has happened to Dustin Tripp on that final play of the game, or of the half, pardon me. So we'll check on that at the halftime break. In the meantime, an awfully good start for the Scots, though. 6-6 tied up against the Trine Thunder. I will take a pause, but you'll have the halftime entertainment from the Kilty Marching Band to keep you going here through the halftime break. Back in 20 minutes for more action here on ElmaScots.com. A 6-6 tie between the Scots and Trine at the break.
Who are about to perform their final halftime show for their musicianship, leadership, and dedication to the Kilty Marching Band. Andrew Belanger, percussion. Andrew is escorted by his parents, Jim and Tracy Belanger. Tia Booker, color guard. Tia is escorted by her friends, Jude Fardig and Chris Wallace. Rachel Dobbins, piccolo. Rachel is escorted by her parents, Steve Dobbins and Amy Dobbins. Miranda Givette, mellophone. Miranda is escorted by her parents, William and Deanna Givette. Andrew Hussey, alto saxophone. Andrew is escorted by his mother, Cammie Hussey. Sarah Jacobs, drum major. Sarah is escorted by her parents, Matt Jacobs and Tracy Jacobs. Erica Kroll, flute. Erica is escorted by her parents, Gary and Nara Kroll. Taylor Thompson, alto saxophone. Taylor is escorted by her parents, Mark and Brenda Thompson. Hannah Fardig Wallace, color guard. Hannah is escorted by her parents, Jude Fardig and Chris Wallace, and her brother, Ben Wallace. Let's have a round of applause for the Kilty percussion section is under the instruction of percussion intern and marching percussion instructor Dave Fair and marching percussion assistant Aaron Krause. Alma College alumni Justin Rito and Dave Fair crafted the band's musical arrangements, and Patrick Ruddy writes the drill. The Kilty Marching Band would like to thank Yamaha Corporation of America, Dave and Pat Hubbard, Dale and Barbara Greer, Steve and Diane Falk, Kirk and Tony Smith, Chloe Hampton, R.L. and Joanne Green, Jeff and Pamela Grossman, R&S Marching Arts, Orifice Limited, A&G Central Music, Alma College Facilities and Services Management, Twin Cities Landscaping, and Bader & Sons for their generous support.
And back here at Bulky Field, just a couple minutes left in the halftime break, and a 6-6 tie between 4-4 Alma and 8-0 Trine. The hosts certainly pleased to get through that first half tied up with the MIAA leaders, and you start to get to a point where minimally, if you're the Scots, you extend the game, you get it into the fourth quarter, and then you can start to seriously think about an upset. The skies have cleared a little bit. I actually see a little patch of blue sky off to the northeast, or northwest rather. Not a big patch, but at least a little bit. Not as dreadful out as it was earlier on. Still not a nice day, though, and we saw the conditions come into play. One ball went flying out of Dylan Zaborowski's hands on a rollout. That negated by a downfield penalty. Passing tough for both squads. Evan Wise goes 3 for 6 for Trine for 41 yards. Zaborowski only 2 for 10 for the Scots for 16 yards, and that's actually 8 consecutive incompletions on Elma's side in the conditions. But nonetheless, a couple of good defensive stops by the Scots and a couple of good breaks. They pulled extra point, and a 39-yard field goal try that hit the upright and clanked away no good leaves Alma tied in this one. Of course, Max Kretschmar, really the hero of the first half, stopping Wise on a rollout scramble on 4th down and goal on Trine's first possession to keep them off the scoreboard. Lamar Carswell came back, scored on the second possession, but that's another area where Alma will be very pleased with their performance in the first half, holding the league-leading Carswell to only 17 rushing yards. He does have a touchdown, but relative to his statistics on the season coming in, where he had 944 yards and 17 scores, coming off a 1,000-yard season last year, to do that, a pretty fine accomplishment for the Scots defensive front. They're going to have to keep it going. I think that for Alma to win this game, they still probably need a good break or two to go their way, maybe a turnover or a flip of field position, something like that. But they have proven themselves capable of hanging with Trine, and as they do that, their confidence is only going to increase to recognize that, wait a second, just because these guys are 8-0 and their smallest margin of victory is 21 points on the season, they're not invincible. And if you put up a 60-minute fight, good things can happen. Alma, as you may remember, won the game against Trine last year and come from behind fashion. They were down 23-0 at the Thunder down in Angola, and fought their way back into that one, took the lead with under a minute to go on a Lars Murray touchdown grab. Then Chris Luckhurst added an interception return for a touchdown to punctuate it into a 41-33 victory. And I would very much like to duplicate that today. Alma will be kicking off to start the second half. Boggs and Barnett will head deep to return, along with Jacob Chesney, thank you so much for tuning in with us today. This is our last home broadcast of the football season. Lots more sports coming up on elmascots.com, though, as the seasons progress. Basketball not that far away. I know we've got former sports information assistant Paige Ross out tuned in from afar, and hopefully many others who are faring better in the weather than these hardy fans, who at least a few of whom have put the umbrellas down in the bulky field bleachers. But they certainly deserve fan awards for toughing it out through this first half today. Right through the wickets, Bill Buckner style on a ground ball kickoff, and Trine will hand it off to the dangerous Barnett, who's going the wrong direction, but he'll turn away from Kretschmar and turn it up the field before eventually being driven out of bounds on the far sideline around the 35 by Hinkle, the Alma kick returner, actually out there as kick return stopper. But we saw Trine actually hand the ball backwards to get it into the hands of Barnett, who averages over 30 yards a kick return. So out comes Evan Wise from the 35-yard line, held to only 3 completions in the first half, although his completion numbers have never been huge all season. Only 56 completions on the year because Trine just doesn't throw that much. Wise is going to keep it himself on a run off the right side, pulled down by Curtin along with Peterson. And let's take a look out there. Dustin Tripp is back along the defensive front. If you were with us right at the end of the first half after he pressured the Hail Mary attempt by Wise, Tripp came up grabbing his arm, wrist, hand, somewhere in that general area, but appears to be okay. So that's excellent news for the Scots to have the all-time career sacks leader out there. He's lined up on the left side of the defensive line on 2nd and 6. Right side run, Carswell slips and stays on his feet, and back he goes with all kinds of room in the middle of the field. Kretschmar gets turned around and now is just left to chase, and a good job by Luckhurst to come up and make the stop at the 33. But what a reversal in the backfield by Lamar Carswell, keeping that knee off the turf and turning around. And Carswell again comes up with a little bit of a limp. He hobbled off in the first half, favoring that same ankle. We'll keep an eye on that, but Trine, of course, a lot of interchangeable parts, so Boggs will simply come in Carswell's place. Boggs, the sophomore, left side, spun out of a shoulder tackle, but only an extra yard or 2 after that before Peterson comes in and finishes the play off. Peterson 5th in the MIAA in tackles coming into today. Had 3 stops in the first half, so that's his 4th there. He and Colton Tyson were sort of neck and neck for the Scots tackling lead, but Tyson out today with an injury. Wise under pressure, throws on the run, almost picked off just out of the reach of Luckhurst at the 18. And again, the Scots pass rush ranked in the top 20 in Division III in sacks, putting Wise under duress and forcing an errant throw. 3rd down and 6 coming up. Wise 56 rushing yards in the first half. Actually had more on the ground than through the air. Most of that coming on that option run late in the half. 3rd down, Carswell gets it. Little stutter step, breaks through a tackle, and here he goes down the sideline. Ken Smith get there? No. And it is a touchdown for Lamar Carswell, and Trine takes its first lead at 12-6. Flag after the play, and this is probably not going to negate the touchdown. Scots seem to believe that it is a Trine foul, but I think it's going to be an unsportsmanlike after the fact. And we'll check in here with so referee Greg Santilli telling us Mitchell Watts whistled for the unsportsmanlike conduct foul. But they will assess that on the kickoff. And now on comes Garza for the point after try. Little movement by everybody, but nobody in the neutral zone, and the kick, this one is drilled. 13-6, Trine strikes in under 2 minutes. Lamar Carswell, his 2nd rushing touchdown, 19th of the season. And Trine with a 7-point advantage. They'll kick off here in just a moment.
Just get in, up, Petey. Keep it. Yes.
I'll just hotspot my phone, but. Okay, you probably are. Lamar Carswell, his second rushing touchdown of the day, has Trine out to its first lead. And Hibbett's now going to have to kick it off from his own 20, so the Scots roll the return men up to the 20-yard line themselves. And Alma will face its first deficit of the day and have to see if they can get things going. Certainly this Trine offense is dangerous as ever, averaging 49 points per game and 500 total yards, 499 and a half. Alma fared far better than that against them in the first half, holding them to only 57 total yards. But whether they can do that for a full game will be the next question. Luckhurst fields the kickoff on the run, and he already is across midfield, and then he moves to the outside. Retreats a little bit, and he's going to run out of room, and he'll actually be stopped back in Alma territory at about the 48 or 49. 12:55 on the third quarter clock as the Scots will send out Dylan Zaborowski. Only 2 of 10 passing in the first half, but a 66-yard rushing performance and a touchdown. That puts him now at 2,061 career rushing yards, the 6th player in Scots history to eclipse the 2,000-yard mark for a career, and the first one to do it as a quarterback. Alma will open the half 4 wide. Remember, they're trying to spare Caleb Reinhardt from overuse, getting as much out of him as possible with the dinged-up ankle. Zaborowski carries on first down into Trine territory to the 47. And he'll be planted there by James Starks along with Robert Riley. Pickup of a full 6 on first down. Riley leading the way tackle-wise today for the Thunder with 9 stops. 2nd down and 4. And Zaborowski will try sprattling up the middle, and a nice gain for Austin, who initiates the contact and pushes his way for an extra yard to the 41. Spratling, who's been in and out with a host of injuries this season, the sophomore out of Kelloggsville. Kelloggsville took a tough loss to Grand Rapids Catholic Central in a back-and-forth battle of undefeated teams in the Division IV Michigan High School playoffs last night. GRCC, the defending champs in Division IV, keeping their season going. First down, Scots now at the 41. Zaborowski again cuts outside of Bruce. Good block there by Reinhardt. Picks up an extra couple of yards. They'll keep the clock rolling with 11:40 to play. Scots down 7 here early in the third quarter. We're trying to answer the early touchdown drive from Trine. Both teams with a missed extra point in the first half. Alma split things out with the swinging gate, got the look they wanted. Mason Ipple attempted to toss it to Brandon Harper in the right corner of the end zone, but Kyle Wiswell knocked it away. Here's Reinhardt's first carry of the half. Hitting the backfield and nothing there. Malik Miles, who has been a steady presence and thorn in the side of whoever's been in the Scots backfield, with his 6th tackle of the afternoon and 2nd tackle for loss. 3rd down and 7 now. Scots 5 of 10 on 3rd down in the first half, keeping right around that season-long clip of 43%, actually even a little bit better. But they need one right here, trailing by 7. Zaborowski going to try to do it himself. Thinks he sees a hole. He's going to have to make his own hole, but the hole just keeps moving, and what work by Dylan Zaborowski, and he's got a first down to the 29-yard line, and that is just pure effort for the senior from Michigan Center. Got a pretty good view of that one from where my booth is, and there was a hole that normally I would associate with about a 3-yard gain there on 3rd and 7, and Dylan just did the rest himself. Approaching 700, actually now over 750 rushing yards on the season. Not much there on first down, and a late flag that may pull this one back a little bit. We'll wait on the handkerchief on this one. Alex Yancey coming over to the sidelines looking for a towel. That tells you that the conditions out there still wet, even with the stickum on those receiving gloves. Yancey unable to quite keep things dry. Zaborowski continues to increase his season rushing totals, has 648 yards on the ground last year, as they said, over 750 now if you include today's yards, with still another game to go.
Number 47, that's a 10-yard previous spot foul, 3rd down.
Flag will go against Cozart and back the Scots up. 1st down and 20. Trine indeed will accept the penalty despite the short gain on 1st down, and a pretty easy decision to back the Scots up there. Turberg and Yancey will head to the right. Spratling and Yancey are left. Murray is up to the top of your screen on the right-hand side. As the skies continue to break, rain system appears to have finally moved through, but it is still wet and moist down on the turf. Floss out into the flat, caught by Cozart and the big man. Look at the hit that he levels on Khalil Hill. Nick Cozart runs over Khalil Hill. Hill is not small either at 6'2", 190, but a big punishing collision delivered by Cozart on his 5th catch of the year, 6'3", 258 out of Manchester. And he gets back the entire 10-yard penalty and 1 yard more, so 2nd and 9 now after the 11-yard pickup. Straight drop from Zaborowski, a lot of pressure. The Scots going to heave for it. There's nobody out there, and incomplete. Zaborowski, a deep throwaway. Would have had the right opportunity if the Scots happened to have called a screen there, as a lot of pressure came through, but nobody for Zaborowski to dump it down to. 3rd down and 9 coming up, 13-6 Trine with 9 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Scots can certainly think about trying to pick this one up in 2 chunks if they want. Spratling will drop back as a running back. Alma went to him in a situation like this in the 1st half. Trine with just 3 down linemen now on 3rd down and 9. It will be Spratling, but not as much this time. The ball came loose. I think Spratling was, they're going to throw the beanbag, and what's the ruling here? They're going to say Trine football. It was kind of a slow reaction. I think the Scots thought Spratling was well down before that ball then spun out, but they're going to say a fumble knocked loose from Austin Spratling, and Trine the recovery at the 23-yard line, and that is a tough break for the Alma Scots. Spratling continuing to plead his case to anybody willing to listen. But none of the people willing to listen seem to have any authority to do anything about it. So not the break that the Scots wanted. It was very clear that to have a shot in this one, they probably needed to win the turnover battle against Trine, who came in having forced 22 turnovers on the season. Alma -8 in turnover margin. And now Trine leading by 7 will send the offense back out, and here comes Carswell. Not a lot of room there. Tried to cut it back in the middle, and big Cam Lee is waiting for him. Still a pickup of a couple. Carswell had that nifty run on the previous possession where he spun to a stop, dropped almost onto a knee, but stayed up and then took off in the other direction right down the middle of the field before Luckhurst made a beautiful downfield stop. But Carswell would later finish off the drive with his 2nd touchdown. He's got it on 2nd down in a huge hole this time. Downfield, Luckhurst just a nice little block to spring him in. Here goes Carswell to the 20, inside the 10, and they're not going to catch him. Lamar Carswell all the way to the end zone. And give the credit on that one to Andrew Bonfilio, who just stood there like he was setting a screen on the basketball court. Did not hold against Luckhurst, but Luckhurst had no ability to turn and chase downfield, and Carswell was gone. 3 touchdowns now on the day, 19-6 Trine. Amazing how quickly things can change statistically. Lamar Carswell held to 20 yards in the 1st half, now suddenly springs up and over the 100-yard mark on the day with 3 scores. Also now well over 1,000 yards on the season. Garza's kick is towards the left, but it is good. So 20-6, suddenly a 14-point Trine lead. Alma's going to have to regroup and do so in a hurry. We'll be back right after this. Took less than 7 minutes for Trine to turn a tie game at the half into a 14-point lead for the MIAA leaders. And now Alma's going to have to regroup as Trine immediately capitalizes on the Spratling fumble. And the Scots had what was really a pretty nice drive nullified there, and then Carswell does the rest with the lengthy sprint to the end zone. Hibbett's going to go with a little onside kick. Scott's got nobody over there, and it'll be recovered. They saw the alignment. Alma often does that. They'll put the guys over on the far side of the field, and Hibbett's recognizes the spot, drops it perfectly inbounds, and James Starks comes and slides in and recovers before anybody in a maroon jersey can come over and get it, and the Thunder will stay on offense. And that is just excellent recognition by the Trine coaching staff, and then the placement by Hibbett's. You could see it about 2 steps before he reached the ball where he redirected his approach that was going to go sideways. But by then it was just way too late. Scots are going to put 8 in the box, almost 9 in the box. Late substitution now. Barnett will come in, set up over on the near sideline. And now Esakella will go in motion. They'll fake the end around to him. Now a play action pass. Wise going to hit the wheel route for Keller, who's wide open at the 30. Down the sidelines, back inside at the 20. Going to try to reverse his field and outrun Kretschmar. It's a speed race, and Esakella's going to win that one. One play, Trine touchdown. Brilliantly devised again. And Trine runs the onside kick, and then the wheel route to Keller, and it is 26-6. This third quarter is all Trine. Alma just on their heels a little bit, and easy to understand the shell shock after Trine strikes, gets the questionable fumble recovery, turns that into a touchdown, and then recovers an onside kick and scores again. What a turn of events in still just over 7 minutes as Garza connects again on the PAT. And now it's really time for the Scots to just try to take a deep breath and regroup. Just tough to absorb that kind of rapid-fire deterioration of the scoreboard. As somebody who took a quick run outside during halftime and came back has probably wondered what happened, since it was 6-6, not more than about 20 minutes of actual real-world time ago. And with 7:57 to still go in the third, Trine now firmly in control of this one. Alma just lost track of Esakella, their former teammate, as he came on that jet sweep action, sold the fake, and then Wise went with another fake to Carswell, and then dropped to throw and found Keller all alone down the sideline, who then did all the rest himself, sprinting all the way back across the field to the far side pylon. Alma will relocate the 5 front men to take away the Hibbett's onside kick that worked last time, so he'll of course kick it deep. It's going to land at the 4 and go out of bounds. So Hinkle will just watch that one head to the sidelines and actually run over onto the track and grab it himself. But what a different game Dylan Zaborowski and the Scots offense suddenly face. Last time they were on the field, they were trailing 13-6 and were on the move deep in Trine territory when Spratling was tackled on 3rd down and 7 or 8 appeared that he might have been down before the ball popped loose. So I really didn't have a good view of it. Clearly that was the Scots' take on it. Trine, of course, believed the ball was loose. The ruling was a fumble, clearly recovered by Trine. And then Trine goes down to the Carswell touchdown, onside kicks, gets it back and scores again, and suddenly it's 27-6. We'll see if Alma tries to open things up. Only 3 pass completions on the day so far, but they'll stick with Zaborowski on the ground, runs up the back of his own offensive lineman, and then bursts out to the left. Aloisi kind of provided a screen there more than anything else, and Zaborowski wasn't able to get around, but he then got in the left turn lane and picked up 3. Second down and 7 as the Scots look over to the sidelines. Cozart, the lone player in the backfield, will flood out as a sort of H-back. Zaborowski throws over the middle. He's got Murray complete into Trine territory. Murray had the great game against the Thunder last year with 5 grabs for 119. That's his second catch today. And the Scots, third catch today by Murray. And the Scots once again on the move, but now need to put a number of touchdowns together. Handoff to Reinhardt. Plunges off the right side for a couple. Scots continue to cycle the backs in and out. One thing that we haven't really seen is a lot of carries for Tommy Cannon. When Cannon has come in, the Scots haven't gone that way. Cannon had 146 yards taking over as the primary back last week when Reinhardt wasn't available. 2nd and 8, rolling left. Zaborowski wants to throw, looks out there, and it's going to be picked off, and that's 7 weeks in a row of interceptions from Khalil Hill, and here he goes. Heads into the middle of the field, cuts back away from Headley, now cuts across the 45. Reinhardt will haul him down at the 47, but what a season continues for Khalil Hill, the 6'2 corner out of Owings Mills, Maryland. 7 weeks in a row with an interception, and that right there is what Trine does. They put you in situations on the scoreboard like this at 27-6, where you're forced to throw, sit back there in coverage, and the talented defensive backs, most notably Hill and Winters, have now combined for 13 interceptions on the season, 19 picks for Trine as a team. So Trine again gets the offense back out there. This will be Boggs with the carry on first down. Boggs listed as a wide receiver on the Trine roster, but they clearly have decided as the season has progressed to use him more in the rushing attack. Coming into today, 5 catches, 61 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 25 carries for 167 yards, and had a 17-carry game for 108 against Concordia. So obviously that is a decision that the Trine coaching staff has made. Boggs will go to a wing position this time. 2nd down and 7. Oh, pardon me, that's not Boggs. Boggs is in the backfield, and he's got the ball running off left tackle this time. That one's pretty well strung out by the Scots. And a 2-yard gain. 3rd down, 6 coming up. 5:20 to play in the third, 27-6 Trine. They have seized control in this third quarter in a game that was all tied up at the half.
11.
Klepper will line up at tight end for the Thunder. Kella in the slot. Bonfilio wide to the right. On 3rd down and 6 for Evan Wise, and a flag at the snap and a false start. 3rd and 6 is going to become 3rd and 11. Trine going to actually get a little bigger as they'll pull Kella off and bring in an extra tight end and Scott McClellan, a 6'4", 220-pounder out of Huntington, Indiana. Carswell, who's had the incredible third quarter on the ground, checks in at tailback. They'll fake it to him, and Wise wants to sling it. Caught. Bonfilio knocked away, though, at the last second. Another tremendous play in the secondary by Chris Luckhurst, who has done that multiple times today. Some good work out there by him. And it'll be 4th down and 11, and Trine will send on the punting unit. 151 yards for Carswell today. That's 134 of those, though, in this third quarter. Hinkle back deep to return as the freshman Riley comes on to kick it away. He's had one blocked this year, 35-yard punt average. And no real pressure to speak of. Hinkle will field this one and slide down, making the catch under some pressure from Winters right at the 20. Scots will bring the offense back out. They've moved the ball here in the third quarter, but a pair of turnovers, somewhat similar to last week when they turned it over 4 times in that third quarter against Olivet, when Olivet really got away. Scots playing without Ian Hickerson along the offensive line, the first team All-NCAA selection last year. So they've had to mix the personnel around a little bit. Tyrone Bruce getting the bulk of those plays, playing right now at right guard. Dakota Jelinek will snap it back on first down. Quick throw out into the flat, caught by Spratling, and wrestled out of bounds for only a short gain. Give him 2 on that one. Yancey was out there to help on what was effectively a bubble screen, but not a whole lot to show for it for Alma, who trails by 21 with 4 minutes to play here in the third. Handoff coming left to Spratling. Nice little hole there. He'll cross the 30 and be brought down at the 31 by number 31. You got all the 31s in play there. That's James Starks again. He recovered the onside kick just a few minutes ago that allowed Trine to stretch its lead from 14 to 21. But Spratling's starting to get involved in the rushing attack now. 4 carries on the day, 26 yards. Scott's moving with the wind for the next 4 minutes before things turn around at the end of the quarter. Reinhardt for about 5 up the left side. Tackle in there by Zach DeMeester. Junior out of Coldwater. 2nd down and 5. Alma will take a look to the sideline. No great sense of urgency as the Scots kind of need to get their footing back underneath them as much as anything at the moment. Quick fake to Reinhardt. Zaborowski over the middle. Caught by Yancey. And that's the first catch of the day, I believe, for Alex Yancey. And that's a testimony to what this Trine secondary can do to you. Yancey, of course, back-to-back 100-yard games 2 and 3 games ago. Only 2 catches last week against Olivet. But that's his first catch today, but it's a big one for a first down. Turberg quickly in motion. Reinhardt, first down, bounces off 2 tacklers and moves it down to about the 47 of Trine. Mason McFarland had the initial hit, but Reinhardt ran right through that one. That's 17 carries now for Reinhardt, which is theoretically a reduced load in the eyes of the Alma College coaching staff, as he is, of course, more than capable of bearing a heavy brunt when not dealing with injuries. 32 carries in that 241-yard record-setting game against Benedictine earlier this year. Zaborowski's turn this time, and he's going to wish it wasn't his turn. Only a yard. An opportunity to take a pretty big hit in the middle there, courtesy of Vince Hume. And you see one of the luxuries for Trine. They do a good job of getting these substitutions in and out, but it keeps everybody fresh with the depth of personnel that they're able to use. 3rd down and 7 for the Scots here late in the third, down by 21. Pressure comes, thrown out into the flat, just trying to get it in the general direction of Turberg. Nothing much that Zaborowski could do with that as Miles came flying through again. And Alma will, again, summon Albright and the punt team. So a little bit of progress for Alma offensively, but not able to sustain the drive. And Winters will head back to return. 1:26 left in the third. Trine will have Olivet at home next week to try to close out the MIAA season. High hanging punt. Winners will field it with a fair catch at the 16-yard line. So if Trine can hold on to this 21-point lead today and take out the Comets, it would be a 10-0 season. And I think probably the best Trine year since 2010, which was really kind of the peak of their previous success. Had a Gagliardi Trophy winner and Eric Watt on that team, the same award that Alma's Josh Brem won back in 2006, essentially the Division III equivalent of the Heisman Trophy. 1:19 left in the third as Trine comes out. Called quarterback keeper for Wise, bounced outside right into the arms of a waiting Scots tackler. And that's Hunter Hoffman making that stop for only a gain of about 2. Well defended by the Scots front 7. Probably one more play left in this quarter unless it is an incompletion. Second down and 8 with Boggs, the deep back this time. Ramirez will chase Klepper in motion, handoff Boggs. Again, the Scots have it strung out, but look at Boggs' work. Pick up about 4 or 5 extra yards before Ellis can finally finish the job all the way to the 21-yard line, though, which I guess all the way amounts to about 1.5 yards, but it was still awfully hard work by Boggs, who Alma had dead to rights in the backfield, and he turns it into a couple-yard gain. Boggs only a sophomore out of Sandusky, Ohio. The teams are going to head to the sidelines. Only 12 seconds left in the quarter, and the play clock at 18. So that'll do it for the third. What a quarter it was for the Trine Thunder. 21 unanswered to take the lead. 27-6, 15 minutes to go. We'll be back in a minute.
That concludes the third quarter.
Ready to start the fourth quarter here, 27-6. Trine on top of Alma. Take a look at a couple of stats here. Dylan Zaborowski for the Scots, 22 carries, 91 yards, and perhaps the most remarkable of that, no losses, no plays stopped behind the line of scrimmage for Zaborowski all day. Net gains of 91, net losses of 0. Caleb Reinhardt, 17 carries, 64 yards. Austin Spratling, 4 carries for 29. Zaborowski, 6 of 17 through the air for 63. Over on the Trine side, Lamar Carswell is the story. 11 carries, 151 yards, and 3 touchdowns, but 134 of those yards coming in the third quarter after Alma really shut him down through the first half. Alma still dominating time of possession, 28 minutes to only 17 for Trine. Third down and 6. Wise under pressure, just going to lob it up top and hope Barnett can go get it, and he does! What a catch by Jeffrey Barnett. That's the reason he's an all-conference wide receiver right there, bracketed front and back, and Barnett goes right up over the top, and at the end of the day, he's the one with the ball in his hands. 10 catches for 244 yards against Alma last year, and that circus grab to add to the list today. Been a relatively quiet day for him with only 5 receiving yards until right there. But put that exclamation point on the highlight reel. Boggs hitting the backfield. Nothing much going on that one. Jake Curtin, the first one through for Alma. And a loss of a yard. 2nd and 11, trying a little confused themselves, trying to get the personnel in and out. Curtin will come out for Alma after making the tackle. Trine gets the play still with 14 seconds on the play clock. 5 wide receivers on 2nd and 11. Only 6 in the box for Alma. 5 defensive backs to counter. And Wise will try to take advantage of the opening in the middle of the field. And a good tackle by Peterson but a pickup of 7 for Wise to the 50. 3rd down and 4 coming up. And Wise often has done that today. Spread the field out to try to create space in the middle and then taken off himself. Wise now 11 carries, nearing 70 yards. Third down and 4. Alma needs to get the offense back out down by 21 if they're going to have hopes of making a late rally. In this wobbling pass, but caught by Barnett for the first down. Colin Smith will reach out and make the tackle. Or pardon me, Brandon Moore on that, 32, not 27. Moore with the good tackle. But again, spreading out the field, Barnett just settles down underneath, makes that catch, and keeps the drive alive. Moore, who made the tackle out of Port Austin, Kindy North Huron High School. Wise going to keep it on another quarterback keeper, and this time he gets out of a Martinez tackle, and he's into the second level. Cuts outside at the 10, back inside at the 5, and spins through another and falls backwards down at the 1. Moore with another tackle, and this one saves a touchdown, but barely. And now an injured Scott down, and that's Kretschmar back at the 15, and the training staff will come out. But Brandon Moore on back-to-back plays with important tackles, but again, you see how difficult it is to continually play in, play out, defend against Evan Wise, even though Wise has not had his best day through the air, 6 of 11 for 125 yards. He's now over 100 yards rushing as well. And Trine's surplus of offensive weapons starting to show here in the second half. Kretschmar pops up and he'll run off under his own power, so that's good to see. But it's going to be 1st and goal at the 1 for the Trine Thunder. Boggs will be at running back, so it will not be touchdown number 4 for Lamar Carswell, at least not on this play. Alma got a goal line stand in the first quarter, eventually denying Wise on a 4th down try inside the 1. They desperately need something similar here. Trine will stay in the shotgun. They're not going to change things up and send Wise under center. They've got Bonfilio split wide to the right, everybody else pretty much packed into the middle. Got a little confusion with the play clock, but they'll get that rolling from a proper start point of 25. And Wise is content to use a fair amount of that as the clock is running in a game that Trine leads by 21. Now Wise will come up under center, and they'll run the quarterback sneak. It's another formation change to try to catch the Scots off guard. Did Wise get there? No signal yet, and they'll say no. Wise inches short, could not get the push, and Alma's going to counter and bring Big Joe Hernandez in to play nose guard as the ball only gets closer to the goal line. Kretschmar also returns after one play out following the officials' timeout. 2nd and goal from inside the 1. Wise will go back under center this time. Boggs is the lone back, and now he's going to flood out. And it will be a sneak once again. The secondary surge will carry Wise into the end zone. Alma stopped the first attempt, but on the second one, the plow truck went right through the snowdrift. And into the end zone goes Trine to make it 33-6. It's 33 unanswered points for the Thunder after Alma did strike first in this one, but most of it has come after halftime. Alma took this game tied into the halftime break, but Trine caught a couple of good breaks and devised a couple of very intelligent calls, including recognizing an alignment opportunity on a kickoff to run an onside kick. And they have controlled this second half. Garza for the PAT, flying through, almost blocking that as Yancey. Or no, that's not Yancey, that's Colin Smith. But the kick is good. It's 34-6, 11-11 to play. Scots will get it and roll the offense back out here in just a minute. Hibbett's on to kick it away as Trine has stretched it out to 34-6 with 11-11 left. And this will be Luckhurst this time. Drops it at the 5, scoops it right back up on a favorable bounce. But that's just enough of a delay to allow the Trine coverage team to get down and pull Luckhurst down just shy of the 20. So we'll see what the Scots opt to do here with 11:05 to play. Now facing a 28-point deficit. Do they try to mix things up or change the personnel at all? Of course, there was a similar situation with Benedictine facing a 25-point deficit at about this same point in the game back in the middle of September, and Benedictine came back and turned that into only a 5-point loss where Alma had to convert a 4th down late to avoid Benedictine having a chance to go on a drive to win the game. So Alma would need points and need them in a hurry, but they've seen exactly what can happen in this type of situation. Zaborowski drops on first down. They'll throw a middle screen to Spratling, and it's not there. Complete, but no gain. Brought down almost immediately by Potts. They had a potential drop-off on the right flat to Terberg instead. Not sure that Parrish had a whole lot more room in front of him. But Zaborowski chose the middle with Spratling, and Sprat wasn't able to get away. 2nd and 10. And this will be a handoff to Reinhardt, working to his left, and he'll find about 4 yards worth of room. And just like that, the Scots find themselves staring down 3rd down. It's been a gray second half after a rainy first half. The rain, for the most part, stopped right around the start of the 3rd quarter. Terberg and Murray in the slot. Now Murray will go in motion, 3rd down and 6. Zaborowski rolling right, going to look downfield for Kruger, who goes up, makes a leaping grab, and stays on his feet into Trine territory, upended there by Hill. But Chase Kruger making like Jeffrey Barnett with the leaping catch amid 2 defenders. Kruger had a touchdown grab in the first half against Olivet last week, his first touchdown of the season. And he'll add that acrobatic leap to the season highlights. First down, Scots at the Trine 39. Reinhardt, sweep to the right, and just kind of backs his way down inside the 35 to the 34. Give him 5. Reinhardt slowly building a pretty nice day statistically. Hasn't broken any big ones. Long carry of the day, 14 yards, but 18 carries for 68 overall. He'll stay in there, play action fake. Zaborowski drops lots of time, looking long, got Yancey out there, double covered, but it's just out of the reach of everybody. Yancey had a half a step in there behind Winters and Harris Scott. But Zaborowski just not quite able to find him. A couple of times today the Scots have looked long and have been very close, but haven't quite been able to put it together. 3rd down and 5. And Alma will utilize the full play clock. Clock is stopped after the incompletion with 9:07 to play. 34-6 Trine. Alma scored first in this one, but hasn't been able to find the end zone since. Couple of 3rd quarter turnovers, thwarted drives. Reinhardt going to try to block in front of Zaborowski. Miles comes through to break up the play. Zaborowski eludes him, but can't get away from Riley. Riley, who is already in double-digit tackles on the day for the Thunder, will add another. That'll be his 14th, and it will be 4th down and 5 for Alma. Alma not going to waste any time. They're going to go for this here without a timeout or any great conference. They're going to try to get things moving. And now, okay, I wondered. Now they will look to the sidelines for the play. It will be go time, of course, though, down by 28. 4th and 5. Reinhardt slides to the right side of the formation. Straightaway drop. Pressure comes. Thrown into the flat outside of the reach of Reinhardt and incomplete. And the Scots turn it over on downs. Trine gets the stop. So, Alma, that's kind of been the story of the second half. Moving the ball but unable to keep things going the whole way. That's kind of how things went in the second half against Olivet last week as well. Not a lack of success moving the ball, but just unable to get all the way to the house. A couple of turnovers, now turning it over on downs. Alma's going to line up 8 in the box, only 3 defensive backs. Try to counter Carswell, and it's not enough. Carswell first down yardage and more. Ball comes loose, but it goes out of bounds at the 48. Another 14 yards for Lamar Carswell, give him 165 now on the day. And that'll be enough to put him over 1,100 yards on the season. Carswell last year, 1,066 and 11 touchdowns as a sophomore. Was third in rushing yardage in the MIAA. And this year leads the league so far. With one more week of play next week, Alma will head to Adrian to wrap up its season. And all of that will come to Trine. First down for the Thunder, misdirection, or actually more of a cutback, I suppose. And again, Carswell almost goes down and just has a second sense to keep those knees off the ground and then squirm forward for another 3 or 4 to the 44. Second down and 9. I hear Alma Sports Information Director make a Barry Sanders reference across the press box, and if you saw that play, you understand why. Just when you think you've got Lamar Carswell, you don't have him. And that's the second or third time he's done that to the Scots in this second half. Carswell, one of many products from the Toledo area on this Trine roster. 3 players from Toledo Central Catholic who actually wear consecutive numbers on the roster. And here goes Carswell again, cutting back into the middle of the field. Back to the right, breaks a tackle from Luckhurst and heads to the pylon. Touchdown number 4 for Lamar Carswell and over 200 yards on the day. What a second half for the young man from Toledo. It's going to be unfortunate that fans may take a look at the final score of this game tomorrow if they didn't have a chance to watch and not understand what a good first half Alma played. And just difficult to hang with a team of Trine's level of talent for a full 60 minutes. 4 touchdowns for Carswell gives him 21 on the ground, 23 total on the season. And Garza for another extra point and another one good. So after the early misfire from Garza, he's been perfect ever since, and it is 41-6 in favor of Trine. Still 6:32 to go. We'll be back right after this. 6.5 minutes left in this one. It's all Trine in the second half, 41-6 in favor of the Thunder. Well on their way to moving to 9-0 on the season, 5-0 in MIAA play, setting up a final showdown with the defending champ Olivet Comets next week. Take a look at the MIAA scoreboard here in just a second, see if we got any updates there. Hinkle from the 6 for Alma. Got a little room across the 30 and out to the 35. So Hinkle continues to be effective in the kick return game. Still no update from Adrian and Olivet. Whoops, that's the first half update. We can do better than this. We'll see what we come up with here for you in just a second as Alma will start things off at the 35. And it is indeed, as we speculated earlier, a lightning delay down at Olivet with the game against Adrian. So no score on that one. Hope up on Albion now 41-10 though. Zaborowski on first down for Alma. Rolls outside to evade the pressure. Throws late, caught by Murray. And Murray has had a very nice game. He's going to wish that he could have played Trine more often during his career. As Lars gets ready to wrap things up as a senior. The 119-yard game last year. 4 catches now today. And Alma another first down. Dustin Nyer in on the right side of the formation, handoff into the middle, and that's Tommy Cannon with his first carry of the game after the 146-yard performance last week. 2nd and 4 coming up for the Scots. And one would assume that we probably have seen the last of Caleb Reinhardt for today. Just with Alma trying to save him and let that ankle heal up, now down by 35. Murray another grab and another first down for the senior from Coleman. Murray was one of the numerous seniors recognized before the game today in today's senior day proceedings. Already has secured a job with Pepsi based on a summer internship that he worked on over the summer. One of the great things that Alma College helps its students get into all these tremendous postgraduate opportunities, and Murray, one of the numerous folks taking advantage of them as they went up and down the line listening to the plans of this senior class. A very, very ambitious group. One of the things that just makes you proud to be associated with Alma College. Cannon on first down, a pickup of about 4 down the right side to the 35. Cannon, another senior on this team from Wyandotte. I think Alma will be almost disappointed not to have recognized his abilities in the rushing attack sooner. He played as a defensive player as a sophomore and came in kind of out of necessity this year as Alma's running back core turned into a mash unit, but proved himself really quite capable. He'll flood into the flat. Alma will throw back in the near direction to Rohde, and he's got some room down the right sideline, pulled down from behind, but Scott's going to have another first down inside the 30. As Eric Rohde, a senior wide receiver out of White Lake, makes that grab. So not wholesale substitutions for Alma, but a couple of new faces getting in there in what will be their final career home game here at Balke Field. Zaborowski fake, throw short, tried to get it to Nyer and didn't get enough zip on that one. And 2nd and 10, clock stops with 3:50 to play. I'm thinking about slipping McKinney back into the, or Kitty, pardon me, pronounce that correctly, back into the game, but elected to stay with the same personnel for at least one more play. High snap pulled down by Zaborowski, given to Cannon. And another good run for Tommy, doing much of the same as what he did last week. Pulled down by Ryan Morrow, a junior cornerback from Yorktown, Indiana. After a pickup of 6. Nyer, Murray, and Rohde, the wide receivers, on 3rd down for the Scots with now under 3.5 minutes to play. Shields in motion. Scott's taking their time. Handoff into the middle. Cannon should have the first down to the 16. And that's the same kind of hard-nosed running that we saw out of Tommy last week. Not flashy, not a lot of huge gains, but steady pickups almost every time. And by the end of the action last week, it added up to 146 yards. First down at the 16, Cannon again. And this time met and thrown backwards from the point of attack. Not anything there when Traylon Richardson has anything to say about it. Richardson from Fremont, Ohio. And that'll earn Cannon a breather, bring in Brendan Newvine, another running back transfer from Defiance, who completed a 30-yard pass on a halfback option throw to Murray last week against Olivet. McKitty lines up now at tight end on the right-hand side. Zaborowski, quick fake, going to throw, look long for McKitty, up high and incomplete. Almost intercepted out there by Tyler Littlejohn. Had his left arm around it, and McKitty quickly swapped hats to turn himself into a defensive back and made sure that that ball wasn't going to be picked off, keep the Scots drive alive here on 3rd down and 8.
That's not cool.
2:09 left. And that will bring to an end the home careers of these seniors in the maroon and cream. One more game next week on the road at Adrian for them. Zaborowski, fake under pressure, look out, and the ball comes loose, and that's going to be recovered by Trine. Just did not feel the pressure coming off the backside. The recovery by Joseph Domagalik. And not a whole lot that Dylan can do there. Took a huge hit and a pretty quick rush. If that pressure gets there and you don't have the ball tucked away, it's probably coming loose. And Trine will come back out now for this final 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Duckett will come back in, the junior out of Niles, Michigan. Also we'll see Nishan Jones, freshman running back from Fort Wayne, Indiana. I see his first action. He's got 176 rushing yards and a touchdown on the year. And a keeper from Duckett out to the left, wrapped up by Moore at the 30, and may have the first down. Looks like he will, falling across the 30 to the 31. Check the additional personnel out there for the Scots. Kyle Kraus into the action along the defensive line. Harper out there, who almost hauled in the 2-point conversion trick play pass after it was tipped up by Wiswell back in the first quarter. Frank Bergquist in at defensive back. He's down to the bottom of your screen. Another one of the seniors introduced as part of the senior day proceedings. Handoff Jones into the middle of the pile. Wildenhouse the first one to him, and Harper as well on that tackle. Clock runs down to 1 minute and 7 seconds. And a couple more snaps here should do it. And an awfully impressive show from the Trine Thunder in the second half. Coming back in a game that was tied up at 6. They start to celebrate over on the sidelines, recognizing that win number 9 is basically in the books. Duckett will just have to kneel it down. Probably only one more time, as long as he waits a couple more seconds to snap this. He'll kneel with 38 seconds. A 40-second play clock will be enough, so that will do it. The teams will walk out onto the field for the handshakes, and you just got to tip your cap to the Trine Thunder today. Alma played a terrific first half and went toe for toe with the MIAA leaders for 30 minutes. But after the break, Trine just a little too much, got a couple of breaks, and then capitalized on them, and that's what good teams do. And they come out of here 41-6 victors today, moving to 9-0 and 5-0 in the MIAA. Alma with the loss drops to 4-5, 1-4 in league play, and a chance to wrap up the season at an even 5-5 mark down at Adrian next week. Take a look at a few final stats. Trine on the day, ends up, wow, imagine that, 477 total yards after being held to 57 yards in the first half. So 420 total yards in the second half alone. That is the power of this Trine offense. That is still under their season average, which is nearly 500. But they get it done in the second half. Alma on the day, 337 total yards. And remember that the playing conditions in the first half were absolutely dreadful, certainly not in favor of either of the offenses. Individual stats on the day, it was Lamar Carswell's afternoon, especially in the second half. 14 carries, 217 yards. That's a season high, his third 200-yard game of the year. 4 touchdowns for him. Evan Wise, 14 carries from the quarterback spot, 107 yards and a touchdown. He adds to that 125 yards through the air on 6 of 11 passing and a score. Esekela, the transfer from Alma, showing off the moves that the Scots remember here on a wheel route in the third quarter after the recovery of the onside kick. He actually leads Trine in receiving yardage with just the one catch, 49 yards on that touchdown. Jeffrey Barnett, 3 catches for 40 yards, a far cry from the 244 he posted against Alma last year, but still the one really athletic move at the middle of the field that shows everybody why he's a first-team wide receiver in the MIAA. Over on Alma's side, Dylan Zaborowski on the day. What he'll remember of this, well, he'll remember lots of things, but one thing that will go down in the record books is that today's the day he went over 2,000 yards to become the first quarterback in Alma College history to ever rush for over 2,000 yards. He only needed 5. He picked up 84 and a touchdown. Tough sledding through the air, mainly because of the conditions. Zaborowski 11 for 26, 128 yards, and an interception. Caleb Reinhardt, a gutty effort, 19 carries for 73 yards, despite the ankle injury. Austin Spratling, 4 carries for 29. Tommy Cannon picks up 23 yards on the ground. Nice game for Lars Murray, the senior, in his last day here at Bulky Field as the team gathers out on the field for a little talk from Coach Greg Piscadna, kind of wrapping up the nostalgia of their career. But Lars, 5 catches, 57 yards on the day. Chase Kruger, a 37-yard reception as well. So that will do it for us. A big thanks to Zach Bosley up on the roof in the awful, awful weather today in his ski suit and hanging in there. We were happy that he was willing to do that. Thanks to Skylar Goodman pushing all the buttons. I'm Topher Goggins signing off here. This is our last football broadcast with the Scots on the road next week, but we will be with you for basketball season, and there's all kinds of other sports coverage, of course, through almascots.com. Log in there on your phone or through your computer to catch up on everything going on in Alma College athletics. I will be with you next December 3rd for Scots basketball, but in the meantime, keep tabs on the Scots and especially the football team as they head on the road to wrap up MIAA play next week at Adrian. Final score again here today from Bulky Field. Trine on top of the Scots, 41-6. Have yourself a wonderful Saturday afternoon.